Hey team, we're going to be creating and defining your niche today. So, depending on where you are in the world, it could be a niche, it could be a niche, it could be basically what we're going to be targeting. So, it doesn't matter what you call it, this is going to be applicable to you, and it is very, very important. It sounds simple, but I see it time and time again in every industry, from podcasting to business to everything, done really, really poorly. People think that business is a niche or that health is a niche. It's not. And trying to play on that field is going to get you into a lot of trouble. You're going to be fighting against the tide the whole time. So in our next session, we look at defining your avatar, and that fits in really well with what your niche is going to be. Okay, if you don't have a niche at the moment, don't worry. If you don't even have an idea, don't worry. What we want to look at is what we looked at in the finding out your why, discovering your podcasting why. We want to combine what your current skills you already have and possess, and then we want to say, okay, where are my strengths? Where can I give a message out to people that they're going to appreciate, that they're going to want to look at, and they're going to want to work with and listen to. And that's basically the foundation of creating our niche. It's not our niche, okay? So you might find that you are a successful sports person. That doesn't mean that sporting is going to be a niche. It's going to be the bottom layer. It's going to be the foundation that you're going to find a niche within sport. Everyone out there has a set of skills, okay? You may not realize it, but we're going to get it out of you, because what we want to look at is, being an expert, being an authority, whatever you want to call it, knowing something about a niche. You just have to be able to explain, either more about that, or get guests in, or share findings in relation to your niche that the majority of people are going to learn something new from, or they're going to find entertaining, or whatever that is. So you don't have to be the best in it in that niche. You just have to be heading in the right direction. Once we have that, you'll find a niche within your talent or passions. Okay, so that's combining what we did in the why of what you're talented at, what you're passionate about, and we will find something within that. If you already have a niche, try and niche down further. Okay, you may have a very, very specific niche, and if you do, well done on that. I have a lot of people who have come to me and said, I'm just focusing on business. And I say, okay, what type of business? And they might say, Australian business. And I say, okay, where is the majority of your business? Are you trying to target the whole of Australia? No, I'm just trying to target Sydney. Okay, any area in particular? No, just small businesses in Sydney. Okay, and what type of small businesses? Is it new ones? Is it old ones? It's new small businesses in Sydney. And I say, okay, well, why don't you make that your niche, that you know exactly the demographics that you're going to be targeting, what they're going to be looking for, what their trials and tribulations, because being a startup small business in Sydney, Australia may be completely different to being a startup small business in the US or in Asia or different things. So you really want to make sure that you can tailor your show and appeal to the needs of your audience on your avatar when we get into the next session, to make sure that it's not all over the place. And if you're trying to appeal to everyone, the big dogs are probably going to knock you out if you're trying to be the top entrepreneurial podcast or the top health and fitness podcast. You can be the top whatever type of health and fitness podcast you want, but it pays to niche down further, because you're going to get more loyal listeners who are diehard fans in that. I mean, think about it like, let's say you're into sport. Are you going to listen to a generic sporting podcast? Or if you're a fan of American football, NFL, are you going to more likely to listen to an NFL podcast? Or are you a American football coach and you want to listen to high school football coaching podcast? And you can go through there, and you're going to get all these diehard listeners who are going to be listening week in, week out for tips and tricks and things like that. You might put out products around that, and you're targeting to a really, really specific niche. Whereas, if NFL.com or whatever it is in the States decide to put out a podcast, you're going to be massively overshadowed. They've got the resources to pump into it. They're probably going to have a better show with better guests. So you can really taper down into your niche. And the more you niche down to it really hurts till you're like, oh my God, I've niched down too much. Because it's fine to have competition. That's almost market validity. But you also want to say, am I even competing with other people who are in my niche? Okay. How can you have a unique selling proposition? How can you be offering your listeners something different to what your competitor is? They may be talking about, NFL or American football, seeing we're on that example. They may be talking about something and you may go, okay, well, I'm going to talk about it, but I'm also going to interview people in it. And there's your unique, and people say, oh, I actually like listening to interviews because it gives me insights from lots of different people. And it can be anything, but you want to make sure that the avatar that you are servicing really, really well to exactly what they want. And if you lose a certain amount of listeners because you're niche down further, that's fine, because you're going to get more diehard listeners who are going to become raving fans, and they're going to bring in more raving fans in the long run, and they're going to stick around for a lot longer as well than if it's a vague type of show. And do you already have a list that's interested in your niche? If you do, you can appeal to them. You can test out, ask, hey, I'm thinking about doing idea A, B, and C. What would be the most interesting for you? And it's really tapering down and getting feedback from them, because they're the ones who are going to be listening. And so when you look at it, can you find something within that niche, within that, as I said, within football coaching? Can you do it to high school football coaching or elementary, primary school football coaching? Can you niche within a niche? Because that will really, really help. And just remember, there's an American saying that says there are riches in the niches. So it always confused me because I didn't know what niches was for a long time. But don't have that fear factor like we were just talking about niching down and then niching down and niching down, because you're not going to niche down too far. Okay, think about this, that I know people who have like ridiculously niched podcasts that would never obviously appeal to me, but they have created massive, like 6 and 7 figure businesses about obscure things. So it could be the Vitamix, and they get that, and then they've niched down to not just how to use it, or not just things, but how can you make 15-minute meals or 10-minute meals or whatever it is through that. And then they've got raving crazy fans who just love their show. And then whenever they put out products, what do those people do? They say, these people know what they're talking about. I want their recipe book. I want their online magazine. I want their digital cooking classes. I want their membership area. Whatever it is, those people. And you don't need a lot. So if you had if over, let's say, a year or two, you built up 1,000 loyal fans, and you got a product out there to service them that was $1,000. I don't know how many of you are too good at maths, but then you got 7 figures already. Or even if you had $1,000 people sign up to a $97 a month subscription fee, straight away you've got you've got a over $1 million a year business created. So don't think that you have to be appealing to hundreds of thousands of people. And the same with your business. If you're trying to get your business out there, being online means if you're in one city that's got 1 million people, you can only reach out to so many people. If you've got a podcast online that's all around the world, if you're only getting 1% of your market in your 1 million person city, and then you can get 1% of everybody who's listening to that, and it markets it out to a lot more people, you're going to get the power to reach more people with a lot less effort. You can use Google as your friend to see. Just start Googling about your niche, and then niche down further in Google and see if there's websites dedicated to that, what kind of interactions they're getting. And yours may be new, and that's fine. Competition is usually a good thing, though, because there is always enough to go around. And if you want, check out Market Samurai. I've got no affiliation with Market Samurai. They're just like an analytic site. I think you can get like a free 7-day or 30-day trial or something along those lines. And they've got instructional videos, and you can use it if you're really wanting to look at the competition from a SEO or search engine optimization side of things. But I'm sure just by getting a pen and a pad, you can start niching down and find your own. And if you're really looking at creating funnels and things like that, then maybe Market Samurai might come in handy. The next step is complete the worksheet that we've got attached to help identify your potential niches. Share it in the Facebook group for feedback and discussion and modification if need be. And then once you're ready, let's jump over to creating your avatar. Make sure you've got your niche sorted so that we can really hone in on creating your avatar. And I will see you in that session.